Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joey Francis, your life, love, and relationship coach. Thank you so much for joining me. What a first date should actually be. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Most people today are meeting online. We're not bumping into each other at the grocery store. We're not locking eyes across a bar. We're not being introduced through friends or family the way we used to. No. Today, we're matching on apps. We're texting, we're sending voice notes, we're having long phone calls, we're even doing video chats before we ever meet in person. And because of that, a lot of people walk into a first date with this false sense of connection. They think they already know the person. They think they already have chemistry. They think the vibe they felt through a screen is the same vibe they're going to feel in person. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear this clearly. Chemistry does not exist until you're sitting across from someone in real life. You can align on values. You can align on beliefs. You can even have the same sense of humor, and you can talk for hours every night and still have absolutely zero chemistry when you finally meet. So today, I want to break down what a first date should be, not what influencers tell you, not what social media pushes, not even what your friends think, but what actually makes sense in the real world for real people. Real people who want real relationships, because the first date is not an audition, it's not a performance, it's not a test, and it's definitely not a transaction. A first date is simply a meeting to find out whether chemistry exists. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And when you understand that, everything about dating becomes easier, safer, and a hell of a lot less stressful. Before we even talk about what a first date should look like, we need to talk about how people are meeting today, because that alone changes the entire dating landscape. Most of us aren't meeting organic anymore. We're not bumping into someone at the grocery store. We're not being introduced through friends. We're not catching someone's eye across a room. Today, the majority of people are meeting online. And online dating creates a very specific kind of illusion, the illusion that you know someone before you even actually meet them. Think about how it usually goes. You match with someone, you start texting, you laugh, you're sharing stories, you open up, you're talking on the phone, you're sending voice notes, maybe even jump on a video chat. And because all of that, you start to believe you already have something. You start to believe that you already have chemistry. You start to believe the vibe you felt through the screen is the same vibe you're going to feel in person. But the truth is, online rapport is not chemistry. Phone chemistry is not real life chemistry. Video chemistry is not physical chemistry. They are all completely different things. Now, this is important. I'm not saying you should talk before meeting. In fact, I think you should. You should spend at least a few days to a week getting to know someone. Not a month, not 6 weeks, not we've been talking every night for 2 months. A week. Long enough to understand. Do your values align? Do your beliefs align? Do your lifestyles match? Do you communicate well? And do you actually enjoy talking to one another? Because if you don't rely on those things, then there's no point in meeting at all. And this is where people get it twisted. Some people say, I don't want to waste time talking. I just want to meet and see if there's chemistry. But see, here's the thing. It could all be over in one question. One question about kids, one question about religion, one question about lifestyle, one question about politics, one question about boundaries, one question about what you're actually looking for. If your values don't align, the conversation ends right there, and you've saved yourself a date, a drive, an outfit, a bill, an hour of your life. So yes, get to know them. Make sure that you're aligned. Make sure you're not wasting your time, but don't overdo it. Because the longer you talk without meeting, the more you start building a fantasy. You start filling in the blanks with who you hope they are. You start imagining chemistry that may not exist. You start creating a version of them in your head that might not match reality at all. So here's the balance. Talk long enough to know if your values align, and meet soon enough to know if chemistry exists. Because chemistry is not real until it's tested in person. You cannot build a relationship on texting. You cannot build a relationship on phone calls. You cannot build a relationship on video chats. Those things help you understand someone's mind. But chemistry is about presence, energy, body language, eye contact, comfort, attraction. How do you feel when you're physically near someone? And none of that exists until you meet. So when people say, we've been talking for weeks, we already know we have chemistry. I always say, no, you don't. You have compatibility. Chemistry is still a question mark. And that's why the first date should be treated as a meeting, not a commitment. Let's talk about what a first date actually is, because this is where a lot of people get confused. A first date can absolutely be the beginning of a relationship. It can be the moment where two people realize, okay, there's something here. It can turn into something meaningful, something real, something worth investing in. But you don't walk into it assuming that. You don't walk into it already emotionally committed. You don't walk in with expectations that this person owes you something or that night has to go a certain way. You walk in with one simple purpose: to find out whether the chemistry you felt through conversation exists in person. That's it. Not whether your future partner, not whether they check every box, not whether they fit into your long-term plans. Just very simply, do we feel something here that's worth exploring? Because you can align on values, you can align on beliefs, you can align on lifestyle. You can talk for a week and feel like you already understand each other. But chemistry's physical. It's energetic, it's instinctual. And it only shows up in person. So the first date isn't the beginning of a relationship. It's the moment that determines whether a beginning should happen. If the chemistry is there, you continue. If it's not, you end it respectfully and move on. Simple, clear, no pressure, no assumptions. Just two people seeing if the in-person energy matches the connection they built beforehand. Here's why the first date should be short. And when I say short, I don't mean low effort. I don't mean lazy. And I don't mean bare minimum. I mean intentional. A coffee, a drink, a walk, something simple, something light, something that gives both people room to breathe. And here's the part most people don't understand. The first date should be planned short so that if the two of you connect, you can make it longer. That's the whole point. You're not limiting the experience, and you're not trying to do less, and you're not avoiding effort. You're creating space for the date to grow naturally if the chemistry is real. Because when two people meet and the energy is good, you don't need a plan. You don't even need a reservation, and you don't need a 3-hour commitment. The date will extend itself. You grab food, you take a walk, you sit for another drink. You let the moment unfold the way it's supposed to. That's what real chemistry does. It expands the moment without you forcing anything. And if the chemistry isn't there, or if the energy feels off, or if the conversation feels forced, a short date gives both people an easy and respectful exit. No pressure, no awkwardness, no wasted time. No one's stuck at a dinner table wishing they could leave. And that's the beauty of it. A short first date isn't about doing less. It's about giving the date the freedom to become more only if it deserves to. It's about respecting your time, respecting their time, respecting your energy, and respecting their comfort. It's about keeping things light, flexible, and human. Because the only thing you're trying to figure out on a first date is this: how do we feel around each other in person? Not, are they my future partner? Not, do they check every box? Not, is this going somewhere? All of that stuff, it takes time. It should be, do we feel something real enough to continue this? And you don't need a 3-hour dinner to figure that out. A short date gives you clarity. It gives you freedom. It gives you the option to continue or the option to walk away. And both of those options are equally valuable. I need to address something that has completely warped people's expectations around dating. Influencer nonsense. And yes, I know technically I am one of them. But if you watch or listen to my podcast, I usually talk about both people equally. It's about you, it's about what you think. But the thing is, if you spend even 5 minutes on TikTok or Instagram, chances are you'll see two extreme camps screaming at each other. One side saying, drink dates or coffee dates aren't enough. And the other side saying, men shouldn't spend money on a first date. And personally, I think both sides are missing the point entirely. And I want to break this down. The drink or coffee date aren't enough crowd. You've seen these videos. A woman sits in her car, looks into the camera and says, a drink date isn't enough effort. I spend time getting ready. I deserve something more. And listen. I understand the sentiment. People want to feel valued. People want to feel chosen. People want to feel like someone is putting in effort because of the effort they put in or feel like they deserve. But here's the part that gets lost in conversation. Getting ready is not putting in effort for the man. It's putting in effort for yourself. Because here's the truth. Most men put in effort too. They shower, they shave, they put on cologne, they pick an outfit, they plan the date, they choose the location, they initiate the conversation, and then carry the emotional weight of leading the interaction. But you never see men online saying, I shaved my face and I wore expensive cologne, so she owes me a steak dinner. It sounds ridiculous when you flip it. And yet, some women genuinely believe, my makeup took 45 minutes. My hair took an hour. My outfit cost money. And therefore, he should spend more because I spent more. But that's not how dating works. Getting ready is part of presenting yourself. It's part of feeling confident. It's part of showing up as your best self. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. You'd do the exact same thing going out with your friends. But you don't charge your friends for it. You don't tell your best friend, I spent an hour doing my hair, so you owe me dinner. Because you know getting ready is something you do for you. It's not a bill someone else is supposed to pay. It's not a currency you exchange for a more expensive date. And here is the deeper truth. If you believe the time you spent getting ready means he owes you more, you're already treating the date like a transaction. That's not connection, that's not chemistry, and that's definitely not romance. That's accounting. And dating is not accounting. A drink or a coffee isn't low effort, it's efficient, it's safe, and it's flexible. It gives both people the chance to see if chemistry is real before investing more time, more energy, and yes, more money. But here's the part these influencers never mention. If the chemistry is there, the date naturally continues, effortlessly, without forcing anything. And that's the whole point. Now, let's talk about the other extreme. The people who say, don't spend $1 until you know she's worth it. And again, I understand the logic. Men are tired of being used for free meals. And let me tell you, it happens. Men are tired of being taken advantage of. And let me tell you, it happens. Men are tired of investing in people who don't reciprocate. And from experience, it most definitely happens. But here's the problem. This mindset turns dating into a defense strategy instead of a human experience. You're not trying to protect your wallet. You're trying to protect your peace. The answer isn't to avoid spending money. The answer is to be intentional. Lead with something short so you can feel the chemistry first and give it room to grow if it's real. A drink or coffee does exactly that. It's low pressure, it's supposed to be comfortable, and it's a clean way to see if the vibe is real without pretending to be someone you're not. And here's the truth. Yes, you should want to make a good impression, not by overspending, not by performing, not by trying to buy chemistry, but by showing up well-groomed, by smelling good, by being presentable, by carrying yourself with confidence, by being someone she actually wants to sit across from. That's real effort, and that's what matters. A coffee or a drink gives you the space to show that without the pressure of a 3-hour dinner or a big financial commitment. Because the goal of the first date isn't to prove your worth, it's to show your worth through being authentic. It's not to show off, it's to show up. And if the chemistry is real, you naturally invest more. If it's not, you end things respectfully. That's not cheap and that's not low effort. That's not even defensive. That is what we call mature. Both extremes. The drink dates aren't enough effort crowd and the don't spend money crowd are operating from fear. Fear of being used, fear of being rejected, fear of wasting time or being taken advantage of, fear of choosing wrong. But dating isn't supposed to be a battlefield. It's not supposed to be a negotiation, and it's not supposed to be a performance. A first date is a meeting. It's a moment, a check-in, a chance to see if the in-person chemistry matches the connection you built beforehand. That's it. Everything else, the money, the venue, the expectation, it's noise. The idea to build something real. Not to see how many places we can take someone or be taken to. And so I actually have a few stories that I can help prove my point. Before I even realized the importance of a vibe check, which is essentially what I call a first date, I skipped the drinks or coffee and I went straight to dinner because that's what we did. We sat down, menus opened, drinks ordered, and within minutes, I knew she was definitely not the one for me. She was loud to the point where people were turning their heads. Profanity every other word, not casually, but aggressively. Talking over people at other tables, pulling attention in a way that made the entire restaurant uncomfortable. And listen, I don't care if someone's loud, and I don't care about swearing because I can be both of those things. And those who know me know that I don't even care what other people think. But the complete lack of awareness and respect for the restaurant and the other people, it was chaotic. It was disruptive. It was the kind of energy that made you feel like you're babysitting and not dating. And here I am, sitting, thinking, this isn't the company that I want to spend 2 hours in. And so I made a decision most people avoided. I ended the day right there. I'm not feeling the connection I hoped for, and I don't want to waste your night or mine. And you'd think being honest was a good thing. No. She snapped. How can you walk away from me? I'm the one who does the walking away. And honestly, that told me everything I needed to know. I literally got up, paid the bill, and left. And that was the moment I truly realized that if we had started with a drink or a coffee, I would have known in 5 minutes. Here's another story for you. A girlfriend of mine, she was telling me about a dinner date that she went on. This was a while ago. She knew within the first 10 minutes that she didn't feel anything. Not attraction, not curiosity, not even a spark of possibility. But because it was a full dinner, she felt trapped. She sat through the appetizers. She sat through the main course. She sat through the small talk. She sat through the moments where she wanted to politely excuse herself, but because she is such a sweetheart, she felt bad. She couldn't do it. She didn't want to be there. But she didn't want to embarrass him either. So what did she do? She stayed. And here's the part that hits hard. He thought the date went amazing. He misread her politeness as interest. He mistook her staying as enthusiasm. He convinced himself the chemistry was building. So when he walked her to her car, smiled, leaned in, and tried to kiss her, she pulled back. She'd been waiting the entire night for the moment that she could finally escape. And that's when he got angry. Angry because he felt misled. Angry because he thought the date went well. Angry because he invested 2 hours into a night she didn't even want to be in. Angry because in his mind, she wasted his time, even though none of that was actually true. She wasn't misleading him. She was just being polite. She was trying to get through the night without making a scene. But because it was a full dinner, he mistook her politeness for interest. And that's when she said to me, I didn't coerce her into this. She literally said it. If we just met for a drink, I would have known in 10 minutes. She just wanted a chance to feel the chemistry before committing to the night. Luckily, nothing ended up happening. She got in her car, she went home, and that was the end of it. And I bet that there's a bunch of you out there that can relate to that story, that it's happened to you. The last story I have for you. So there's this guy I've been helping out, and he told me about a date that he's been looking forward to for weeks. He's been talking to this girl. Great conversation, great photos, great vibe. He was so excited. So he skipped the vibe check and went straight to dinner. He walks into the restaurant, looks around, doesn't see her. And then someone waves at him and his stomach drops. It's her, but it's not her. Not the woman from the photos, not the woman he thought he was connecting with, not the woman he'd been imagining. No. But he's a really nice guy. Like he is honestly like a really sweet guy. So what does he do? He sits down anyway. He's polite. He's trying to stay open-minded. He's trying to remember all the great conversations they had, all the things that they align on, but inside he's rattled. Not because she looked different. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's what he said to me, but let's be honest. But truthfully, because she lied, she presented herself as somebody else. Anyways, they order apps, and he's doing his best to stay present, but every minute that goes by, the tension inside him builds. She's talking, he's nodding, but in reality, he's not there. He's stuck in his head thinking, do I even know this person? I don't trust this. I don't feel good about this. The apps arrive. He tries. He really does. And this is what he told me. But halfway through the plate, he realizes he can't do it. He can't sit through a full dinner. So he takes a breath and says, I'm going to be honest. I'm not feeling the connection I hoped for. I think it's best we end the night here. Now, he told me when he said that, the look on her face was very understanding yet sad. Like she knew what she did and didn't get away with it. He pays for the apps, thanks her for meeting, and then he leaves. And then he said, if I just listened to you and met her for drinks, I would have known in 3 seconds. And then I said to him, drinks? This could have all been avoided if you just had a video call with her. And that's why I recommend doing these things to avoid these types of situations. But when you look at all 3 stories, they all collapse into the same truth. Long first dates create pressure, fantasy, obligation, and confusion, where short first dates create clarity. A drink, a coffee, a 15-minute vibe check. That's all you need to know whether this is someone you want to invest in. And once you understand that, once you start treating first dates like introductions, you stop wasting time, you stop hurting people, and you stop getting hurt. Which brings us something deeper. Because the real problem isn't necessarily the date. It's also the expectation we walk into dating with. Granted, most first dates fail because there's no chemistry. But the disappointment, the frustration, the confusion, that comes from expectations. Because when you finally meet someone in person, you're meeting a person. But a person you've created in your head based on limited information. A few photos, a week of texting, some jokes, some late night conversation, and it's like your mind fills in the rest. So when the real human shows up with their real energy and their real presence, there could be a clash between who they are and who you imagine them to be. And this is where a lot of people get thrown off. That's the danger of going in too deep, too fast. You're not dating the person in front of you. You're dating the idea you built before you even met them. And once you understand that, once you start approaching dating differently, more grounded, more present, and more honest, you strip away that fantasy. Once you stop projecting, once you stop building a character in your head, you finally get to see the truth about compatibility. Compatibility isn't a feeling. It's a pattern. Chemistry is a feeling. Attraction is a feeling. Excitement is a feeling. But compatibility is behavior. It's how someone talks to you, how they listen, how they handle discomfort, how they treat people around them, how they respond when something doesn't go their way, how they show up consistently, not just when you're trying to impress you. That's why short first dates matter. Because you're not trying to figure out if this person is your soulmate. You're trying to figure out if there's enough alignment to justify a second date. That's it. Compatibility reveals itself slowly through small moments, through repeated interactions, through the way someone's pattern shows up over time. You can't see any of that if you're too busy projecting or fantasizing or trying to force a connection that isn't there. A first date gives you the space to notice the truth. A second date lets you confirm it. A third date lets you see if the pattern holds. And that is how real compatibility works. Not through intensity, not through fantasy, not through consistency. Through consistency. A short first date is about cutting things off early. It's about giving people a chance to feel the chemistry without pressure. And here's the thing. If the vibe is good, if the energy is easy, if you both clearly enjoying each other's presence, the date will naturally continue. It just happens. Maybe you grab another drink. Maybe you take a walk. Maybe you just sit and talk a little longer. And that's the beauty of a short first date. It gives you the flexibility to extend it only if it feels right. And if it doesn't, no harm. No pressure, no awkward exits. And then the second date, or the extended first date, becomes the real moment where you learn something. Are they consistent? Does the chemistry build? Does the conversation feel just as natural as it once did? Do you actually want to know more about them? Whether the first date ends at 10 minutes or naturally falls into something longer, the principle is the same. You're letting the connection grow at its own pace, not forcing it, not rushing it, not dragging it out. A lot of people, when they're talking and getting to know each other, get overly excited. This is building that fantasy in their head. And sometimes when they meet for the first time, they're trying to force what they have going on in their head in reality. That this person must be like this because this is what I felt. And sometimes chemistry's not there. The chemistry doesn't exist. And yet, because of what they felt talking on the phone, they may try harder. But at the same time, you may realize, I'm not feeling this. This doesn't feel the same. Like even when we're talking, it doesn't feel the same. And then you finally realize that the chemistry's not there. And this is not worth pursuing. At the end of the day, a first date is a meeting, a simple moment to see if the in-person chemistry matches the connection you've built online. And for the women listening, I want to offer you something with love and respect. If you're genuinely enjoying getting to know someone over text, phone, or video chat, if the conversation feels good, if the connection feels promising, what difference does it make if the first date is coffee instead of dinner, when in reality, you're looking for someone to spend the rest of your life with? If the material details matter more than the person, maybe the goal isn't connection. Maybe it's having someone pay for your time. And I say this with empathy because I want you to understand and have a little sympathy for a man's wallet. Those of you actively dating, imagine if you had to pay for every single date you've been on in the last year. Would it not have been a substantial investment? And then imagine doing it all over again this year. See, most men aren't trying to be cheap. They're trying to be thoughtful. They're trying to be efficient. They're not trying to save money. They're trying to save both of you from wasting time. Because if it's worth it, if the chemistry is real, if the connection is genuine, you'll end up with something far more valuable than any dinner. You'll end up with a life partner. The first date isn't the story. It's where you find out if there's a story to tell. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say about that. And I know that there's going to be a lot of you that disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine, and it's okay. You want to do dinner dates? Do dinner dates. But to me, this is the way that I think it should be done. This is the way that I think it should be more efficient, because it's not even about the money. When you think about it, it's one commodity that is worth more than anything else in this world: time. And if you can put food or, what you spend getting ready or whatever the case is more valuable than time, I'll just ask you a simple question. What if I was to give you $15 million right now? You'd probably be like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. And then if I said to you, okay, the one stipulation is you don't wake up tomorrow. Now what would you say? Because I guarantee you, there's probably no amount of money that you would take instead of waking up tomorrow. So 5, 10, 15 minutes versus 3 hours, saving you time. Nonetheless, if you made it this far, thank you so very, very, very much. I honestly really appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of me, yell at me, cancel me, do all those things, you know where to find me. That's joeyfrancis.com. That's joeyfrances.com. And there you can send me an email. You can buy my books, or you can ask me a question. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you again. I honestly appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea. To those people that listen to this whole thing, I appreciate you more than you can ever understand and realize. And for that, I just want to say one last thing. Let the right story reveal itself. Till next time.